Good morning, friends, and welcome back to Carrie's Culinary Crafts. And if this is your first time coming across my channel, I hope you stick around for the video and consider hitting that subscribe button down below. What we do on Carrie's Culinary Crafts is we do everything food, everything from gardening, cooking, canning, preserving, fermenting, DIY mixes and spices, dehydrating, you know, all the good stuff. Um, so if you like what you see, definitely hit that subscribe button down below. And today's video, I have just basically it's my prep day. I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm preparing. I'm just cutting up some watermelon. I'm going to be um, cleaning some fruits and veggies and getting them into the refrigerator. I find that if everything is always cut and cleaned and ready to eat, then everybody in my family digs into it. But if things aren't prepared and cleaned, then everybody just kind of bypasses it because they don't want to have to deal with that. And also, if I need these things when I'm cooking, I would prefer them to be already taken care of. So all I have to do is add them to whatever it is that I am cooking. And also in today's video, I'm going to be canning up some more taco meat. I just had a butcher box haul uh, this past week. And if you noticed in that butcher box haul, I got that ground beef blast. And it came at a perfect time because I was running low on my taco meat. Now, taco meat is something that I always have canned up, and regular ground meat as well. Um, but taco meat is a big staple that I keep on hand at all times because uh, there are times when we just need fast food and we're not going to a fast food restaurant. I will make something like Mexican, something taco, whether it's tacos, a taco salad, taco pockets, taco pizza, anything at all that you could use taco meat for. Doesn't even have to be tacos. You can use it with anything. But I find that I use it a lot. So therefore, I like to have many jars canned up on my shelf um, for me and also for my husband and my son. If I'm not home cooking or something like that, if I'm out, it is a quick thing that they can do themselves when it's already cooked up. All they got to do is open up a can and heat it up and put whatever they want. Now, my husband, he'll just open up a can of meat and put it on top of some nacho chips and put some cheese on top, and voila, he has nachos. So I definitely love to keep this on hand. So it's something that I do can up a couple times a year. Um, Whenever I see that the organic grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef from Butcher Box, when it goes on sale for that ground beef blast, I always get at least um, one order of it, because in one order you get 10 pounds, and they're divided into 1 pound packs, and they're two 1 pound packs. So I get five of those, so that would be 10 pounds of ground meat. And so that makes a nice um, stocking of some taco meat to put on my shelves. And I'm not sure what else I have in this video. I think I'm, processing some cheese because, I don't buy the shredded cheese because it has all those extra um, ingredients on it to stop it from sticking. And I don't like to have those extra ingredients on my cheese. I just want the cheese. So I buy in the whole blocks, and then I go ahead and shred it myself. I have a high-speed food processor that shreds the cheese up in seconds. So that is something that I always do. And on this day, I did go ahead and I needed to do mozzarella cheese and I needed to do some sharp cheddar cheese. So I will be doing that as well. Okay, so here I have my 10 pounds of meat in here, and I also cut up 2 large onions to put in there. And easiest way for me to do it is just to go ahead and cook it in my my roaster. And then here I have my homemade DIY taco mix, which I'm going to add several scoops of this, as you will see. This is a 2 tablespoon scoop, and in each taco packet there is 3 tablespoons, and that is for 1 pound of meat. So, and I have 10 pounds of meat, so I will be adding several of those scoops. I added about half of it here, then I'm going to go ahead and mix it, and then I'm going to add some more. And then once it is all cooked through, which in this big roaster pan, it takes no time at all. It probably takes maybe 15 minutes for all of that to cook through in this big roasting pan. And then I will go ahead and taste test it to see if it needs more seasoning, which you will see that I definitely need to add more seasoning. And then I also add salt, because although I do put a little bit of salt in my taco mix, I do not put a lot of salt in it because I like things to be salted to taste, and I never want something to be over salted. So when I make my DIY mix, I usually use a small amount of salt, so I know that I need to add it at a later time. Top and leave them with a can up. Taste it. Make sure there's enough seasoning in it. Are you coming over for a taste test? Make sure you blow on it, honey. It's probably really hot. Does it need more seasoning? Yeah. I had a feeling. Because there's 10 pounds of meat in here, so I didn't put enough for 10 pounds. But I didn't want to overdo it the first time.
like to taste taco meat. It's
No, I
very
tasted
tasty.
it. It's fine.
It's very tasty.
Black hat or what? Fedora? I don't know, I never thought of fedoras as a power hat.
Okay, so I went outside to my outdoor kitchen and fired up my Camp Chef. I have a propane 2-burner Camp Chef stove that I like to do my canning during the summertime outside because I don't like to heat up my kitchen. For the most part, I do not use my oven at all during the summer. I cook everything outside. I have a smoker, I have a Blackstone, I have a grill, and then I have this Camp Chef 2-burner stove as well. If I'm cooking inside, it's on a cooler day, or I'm using my crock pot or my Instant Pot or something like that. I don't like to use my oven at all in the summertime because it really heats up my kitchen. And, you know, I live in a very old house, so we have window units, and I have a very large window unit that cools the whole downstairs, but it does not really reach into the kitchen. I guess AC doesn't like to go around corners or something, but the majority of the downstairs stays cool, but the one room, the kitchen, and then the very back room where the mudroom is and the bathroom, the half bath, does not get cooled off. So it stays pretty warm in those areas of the house. So I really don't like to heat up the house much in the summertime. This roaster is another thing. You can cook in this roaster and it does not heat up the house as well. But also I have this on my kitchen extension, which goes into my dining room, which stays cool with the AC on. So now I'm going to go ahead and jar up this meat, and I am putting these into quart jars. Now I do both. I do pints and I do quart jars. The pints are for if, like, my husband cracks open something, is just doing a little bit of nachos, or it's just for 1 or 2 people. But if I'm cooking something for the family, I will use one of these quart jars of taco meat. But I do keep them on hand. I have a whole shelf in the cupboard right above where this roasting pan is. There's a double door cupboard there, and there's 2 shelves. The very, very top shelf is filled with taco meat in pint jars, and then the second shelf is filled with taco meat quart jars. And then the bottom shelf is other miscellaneous meats. My bacon is there. I have some pork there. Mississippi pot roast is in there. I think that might be it. Maybe some sloppy joes is in there. And then I have another cabinet that has all chicken in it, because chicken is something that we also use a lot of canned. So I make sure that I have a whole entire cabinet full of just chicken. So once I get all of this meat in the jars, and I'm going to save the last little bit because tonight is Tuesday, so it is Taco Tuesday. So I will be making some form of taco. You will see it in my next What's for Dinner this week live video premiere next Wednesday. And tonight I am making kind of like big taco pockets. I have some pizza dough, And then I have some crescent roll dough, like those, the cans of dough that you can get. I have a couple of those that I need to use up because they're getting close to the expiration date. And I always forget about them because I have them in the drawer in my refrigerator. So I want to go ahead and use up the one pizza dough and the one crescent dough, and I'm going to make some pizza pockets. So in here, I just opened up a can of beef broth, and I'm going to dump in with my taco meat. Now, you could just use water if you'd like, but you know me, I have tons and tons and tons of broth, all different kinds of broth. So I try to use broth instead of water anytime that I can. And then I just have a wooden skewer here that once I pour the water in, I debubble it. Just make sure that I get all those bubbles out. And then, some of that liquid will fall down and fill up those bubble spaces, and you might end up having to add a little bit more liquid. Now this, since this is meat, and I did cook it, the majority of the grease is out. But there will still be some grease that is on the meat or that may cook out in the canning process. So you want to make sure that you have the right amount of head space. I am leaving a 1-inch head space. So that means that the liquid and the meat will come up to the very bottom of the threading of the jar. So there will be 1 inch worth of space between the meat and where the lid will be. And you need to give that space, like I said, this is a little bit greasy. You need to give that space for when it's in the canner. It's under very high pressure. It's very hot in there. It's going to boil in these jars. And you want to make sure that there's enough space to give it that boiling area so the grease doesn't get way up on the lip, which can cause a seal to fail. That is a common thing that happens, especially with greasy foods. So you want to be careful with that. So I needed a little bit more broth, so I just went ahead and opened up a pint jar of it to finish these last 2 jars. Okay, just got myself a shower and I'm nice and fresh, and I'm going to go ahead and finish up some of the rest of the prepping that I have to do today. And I had this pasta jar that was empty that ran through the dishwasher, and I went ahead and restocked it with some vermicelli pasta. And then I'm going to get my lettuce out, and I'm going to go ahead and get it all cleaned and spun dry and laid on towels just to make sure I get all the moisture off of it. Now this lettuce is not from my garden. I don't have any lettuce right now in my garden. We're going to have to wait maybe a couple weeks, and then maybe I'll plant some more because it has just been in the 90s this past week, and that is just too hot for lettuce to grow. We did plant some more, but none of it took, or it started to take and then it just died back because it just got so hot. So I purchased some organic romaine lettuce, and then organic spring mix lettuce. Both of these are already washed, but I still do go ahead and rinse them. I don't worry about rinsing them with vinegar or salt water or anything like that because it is organic, so it doesn't have the pesticides on it that your regular lettuce would have. Um, Now, in an explanation for organic versus non organic, I do not buy everything organic. If I could afford it, maybe I would, but there are certain things that you don't necessarily need to purchase organic. And a way that I like to look at it is if you have to peel something or you are eating the inside of something, I don't think it's necessary for you to buy organic because if you're already removing the outside, like of peels, like bananas or oranges, things like that, um, I don't feel it's necessary to buy organic because you're not eating the outside. But when we're talking, like lettuce and apples and things like that, where we're eating potatoes, we're eating the whole thing, the peel and all. Those are things that I definitely buy organic because I don't want, um, I just don't want any pesticides going into my body or my family's body. So, and there's something that you can check up online. They call it the Dirty Dozen. If you want to just stick to the, important ones that you should get organic, take a look at that. That Dirty Dozen list is kind of what I um, kind of go by. And like I said, with the peels, if it's something that I'm peeling, I don't necessarily worry about it. But if I am eating that whole entire fruit or veggie, then I definitely want to get, organic that wasn't sprayed with anything. So now I grabbed out some chorizo sausage. That is for a dinner for tomorrow. And so I'm just going to set that out for a few hours and then put it in the refrigerator, so it can thaw out for tomorrow. And now I'm going to go ahead and make myself some lunch. I'm just making myself a tomato, mozzarella, basil salad for some lunch today. I had a half of a log of mozzarella left. So I just figured I'd go ahead and make myself a nice salad for lunch. And I'm just putting mozzarella on it, and then I'll salt and pepper the mozzarella. Then I'll cut up a fresh garden tomato and put on top. And then I'll salt and pepper the garden tomato. And then I'll drizzle just a wee little bit of olive oil and balsamic vinegar on top. And then I'll um, cut up some basil and sprinkle along the top. And that will be my lunch for today. Okay, so now I got out my food processor. I'm going to go ahead and shred up these cheeses. I have mozzarella here, and then I have a sharp cheddar. So I just stick it in my food processor, and as you can see, This makes quick work of a whole block of cheese. Takes no time at all. Takes more time to put the cheese into the bag and make a mess than it does to actually shred up all that cheese. And if you stuck around for this whole video, please know that I appreciate you. And leave me a purple heart down in the comments below if you got to this part of the video. And if you are new here, like I said at the beginning, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It only helps me provide more food content for you all. And if you have any suggestions of things that you would like to see or would like me to do, or have any fun challenges that you want to see if I can endure them, please leave them in the comments down below. And make sure you hit that thumbs up button and give me a like. All of those things help my channel out tremendously, and that's what helps me keep coming back as often as I do, 3-4 times a week, providing you with these wonderful videos. Until I see you next time, friends, I hope you have a good day. See you later.